Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Kit Conspiracy. I have another double page layout for you today using the Ginger Snap collection from Pretty Little Studio. We have been using this one all week long, and I am just auditioning some papers here to see which ones I want to use. These are still photos of my niece's baby shower, and this is just a picture of her with a bunch of her friends, and then random photos of the people who came to the shower, eating and that kind of stuff. So nothing that is, really a focal point. They're all kind of like background photos and such, although there is one of her posed with her friends, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And inking up again most of my or all of my papers with more of the Scattered Straw Distress ink which is a beautiful yellow that just totally matches the yellow plaid that I am putting down there. And I really like the way that that is working. I am trying to use multiple papers on this to kind of span the different distance, because in this collection I don't have any any pages that are the same, or any papers that are the same. So I have to kind of make them work across the two pages, and I think this is going to be a good way to do that. I only have a bit of this yellow left because I've used it on another page already. And then same with that stripe and the heart. I used those on my other double page, and so I thought this was a good way to go ahead and have these just kind of span the difference. I was actually measuring that paper to see if it was a true 12 by 12 because it kind of felt like it might not be, because nothing was aligning properly. And I don't know if it was my yellow paper wasn't cut straight, or I have to assume the white paper is correct because it came in a big brick of paper. I mean, it was like 100 pack of Daisy White from close to my heart. So I have to assume, I think it's 100 pack anyway. Anyway, it's a lot of paper. So I have to assume that that one's correct. So either I cut something wrong, or it just came and it wasn't 100% perfectly cut from Pretty Little Studio. I'm not really sure. But that's what I was doing there, was just trying to figure it out. So the photos also have some of the decorations and some of the food in them, which I think was really key to making the album or these pages all go together. It was kind of a conscientious choice that I made to kind of print a bunch of those types of photos smaller, and then just kind of filter them in here and there across the pages, so you kind of just get the vibe of the whole thing as you go through the album. So I really liked the this stripe. I'm going to go ahead and have it pull it in across the right hand page to match it up with the stripe that is going horizontally on the opposite page. I did cut a bit of it off because I didn't want it to go all the way across the 12 inches on that right hand page. So you can see there's a bit left over by my trimmer here, but I am also thinking I still have more layouts to do, so I might be able to bring that in somewhere else also. So just kind of working smart and trying to reserve some of those patterns for other layouts. Now, I don't know what I'm going to use them on because I haven't figured those layouts out yet, but rather than, making that heart paper hidden by that stripe, I just cut 2 strips off and tucked them in. So good ways to make your papers kind of stretch a bit. So I'm liking how these are going. We've got pictures of her husband barbecuing and one of his friends hanging out with him, people at the table. I just thought it was a great way to kind of, like I said, get the overall vibe of the entire layout. And I'm just figuring out the placement of the photos here because I know I want to have some embellishments down in this bottom right hand corner, but I don't want to cover up any of the people, so I was okay, what photo do I put at the bottom here? Which one is the least important? And that bottom right one is just um, some of the food that was served. So if it gets covered up a little bit, it's not going to be a big deal, rather than possibly covering up the little girl that's in the photo. And that's not one of her kids, it's one of her friend's kids, but I thought it was cute because they had a little play yard out for the little kids to hang out in, with like a tent and a ball pit and that kind of stuff. So the kids had fun playing in there. I am cutting out yet more of these frames, and I am definitely going to use a couple on this layout and just trying to find unique and different ways to use them. So I cut the bear out of the frame, and then I'm putting him back in the frame but off-centered rather than centered right in the middle with a white background. And I like how that looks a lot better. So I did the same thing with the squirrel on the right hand side and the owl up on the top. But I feel like my cluster, pardon me, with the owl is getting a little bit too close to the edge of my paper. So I'm going to move my photos down a bit. I was kind of working off the center line of where the photos all meet up, but I decided instead of having that center line come through, I would just match up the bottom of the photos, because it doesn't look like I'm having them match with the bottom of the photos right quite yet, but I am going to move them down one more time. I just felt like that cluster up top was just getting too big. So too big and too close to the edge of the paper. So now I'm just figuring out what I want to put behind this little bear. I think he's super cute, and I really just, I don't know, I just thought he was adorable. So playing with that, and then also the same kind of idea between the squirrel and its little frame, and then the owl and its frame. I'm going to put some foliage behind there as well, and I think that comes out really just really adorable. So I like the way that it looks anyway, and I just love the foliage pack that came with this collection. I love that there are some deep kind of purpley reds and the golds, the golden browns and yellows. It is a beautiful fall collection. Even though I'm not using it for fall, I think it would work. It would be a great collection for fall. Obviously, that's what it's designed for, but I am obviously using it for something totally different. Pardon me, the cluster on the bottom right-hand side, I'm going to play around with the positioning of it a little bit, because I do want to add my title to the bottom left with that bear. So I'm going to play around with that squirrel and figure out if I need to move him up or down, because I don't want them exactly across from each other. So my title on this one is just Blessed, and you saw me there playing around with the placement of it and if I thought that was going to work. And now I've moved all of my photos so they line up at the bottom of all of the photos, or all of the photos line up across the bottom of the page. That's the best way to describe that. And then I am playing around again with the title and the placement of that and where that's going to work. I don't really like the blank space above the ESS and between that and the photograph. So I'm going to try and figure out something to put in there while I am working on the placement of all of these leaves and such. So it's kind of something that's in the back of my mind. I'm thinking about it as I am gluing all of these little floral bits together. So now that I've got those glued together, I'm just going to go ahead and set those down behind this little guy, and I think it's really cute. I also brought in a little bit of a green sprig over there to bring in a little bit of the green, because I don't have that color really represented over here, but I have it quite a bit in that ticket that says today up at the top, and in the circular label that is by the squirrel. So I'm just trying to see if I have a label that is small enough to go in this blessed area. What I end up doing is I end up cutting around one of the tabs So the little um, white spot of at the top of the tab becomes its own little label. So that kind of fills in that spot, and I think that looks great. And then I'm going to add a little label here under the ED so that a little bit more writing could be written down. She could also write on the grid paper in the background, and I think that would work very well as well. I did add some butterflies. The butterflies have their wings popped up onto some foam tape, and then the body is glued down to the paper. That is pretty much something I always do with butterflies. It gives them a little bit of movement and keeps them from being squashed in your album. I have also pulled out a little heart there by that bear, and I think that's really cute. So I haven't glued it down yet, but I'm considering it. So it's sitting there while I glue down the squirrel and its little cluster here. And I have moved that up a bit, and I don't mind, like I said, that bottom right-hand photo is getting covered a bit. It really is just like it's a kind of like a wrap that has been sliced, I guess. And so I don't mind that that's getting covered up. So I'm just kind of figuring out the placement, and I am trying to conscientiously put him a little bit higher than the bear so that it doesn't look like they're at the exact same level straight across from each other. I am adding a little bit of foam tape underneath the tips of some of these leaves as well, just to kind of give a little added dimension. And this butterfly I'm going to add, but I'm going to cut off some of the white around it because I'm not a big fan of that white border, that being so huge. So I will go ahead and cut that off most of the time. And I like that way, that looks a lot better. Just adding a little bit of liquid glue behind all of my little pieces in my frame up here by this little adorable owl. I think that's super cute. And then behind my ticket as well. I think I've got most of the colors represented in the areas. I do feel like I need a little bit of yellow up here in this top one, but I kind of go back and forth on what I'm going to use. But at the end of the day, I choose the yellow one. I do have to move my owl up a little bit because his eye was getting covered up. But I feel like the yellow works better there because I've got yellow leaves down by that squirrel. And then the bear is sitting on top of yellow. So I needed a little yellow representation up by this owl other than just his eyeballs. And now I'm just placing my little hearts around into each of the clusters, and I think those are super cute. Bringing in a little bit more green over by the bear because I've got green a little heavier in the other areas. And then last but not least, I'm going to add this flare piece that says grateful, thankful, and something else. I don't know. But it's super cute. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave those down below. I will respond as quickly as I can. I'm trying to get to all of the comments, but it's taking me a while. If you want to find out more about Kit Conspiracy, you can go and join the Kit Conspiracy Facebook group. The link is down below. I will be back again tomorrow with another Kit Conspiracy video with this collection, and then on Wednesday we start a new kit, and so you should come back and check that out. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, and if you're not subscribed, I'd love for you to do that as well. I'll be back again tomorrow. See you then. Bye-bye.